And I can cut this as much as I need to at the end. It's already recording, so you can start whenever.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is Dave Barr, the owner of the Pottsville Maroons and now one of the two co-commissioners of the World Football Alliance. And with me this afternoon, I have our new co-commissioner, Mr. Colin Pierce, owner of the Montreal Berserkers. I'll say it right this time for you.
That's right. That's with an R, 2 R's.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me to sit up here with you.
Well, I think we're going to have a good time, and I'm looking forward to doing some things to, I do think we need to say thanks to Noah for several years of service and hard work, and we wish him well in trying to get some things in his what's now become his adult life ironed out, and look forward to maybe working with him again at some point in time in the future. But in the meantime, I want to work really hard at trying to make our league be the very best that it can possibly be.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, that's our goal, right?
Right.
We love the WFA.
Right.
We spent a lot of time with the WFA, and we feel like it's our baby.
We do, and now we're going to have the opportunity to see what we can do with it. And while Colin and I will be serving as co-commissioners, we're going to be leaning heavily on some of the old guard. Some of you guys that have been in the league all the way along, we're going to ask a lot of questions of you and lean heavily on your advice as we move forward through this league.
Yeah. I mean, they've compared to some of the folks who have been in the WFA, we've not been in near as long.
Right.
But, so we definitely rely on them for advice and direction, and to kind of get a feel from them what the league wants, because we don't want to shake things up a lot. That's not our goal. Right?
No, I'm not gonna completely upset the apple cart on day one, but I also do want us to give some consideration to some things that I think will make the ownership experience and the player experience. I want those things to be better for us going forward.
Yeah, we want people to have fun, and that's our goal.
That's one of our goals.
That's one of our goals.
We're going to talk about our goals later on in the show.
We will. Yeah. So stay tuned. I think the most important thing for us to talk about is we've been at a standstill for several weeks now in season 9. It's been hard to get the streamers to get together to get these games taken care of. It's become a chore, which I hate.
Yeah, because it goes against us having fun, and what has happened is that the streamer's job has become so overwhelming with making sure injuries are right, making sure the playbooks are input correctly, run pass ratios, and then the stream itself, making sure that goes off without a hitch. We're asking really a lot of those guys.
Yeah, and it's stressful, and it's hard to make it happen without any problems. So, do you want to just go ahead and jump into what our plan is to finish out this season?
Yeah, I think what in light of the difficulty that faces our streamers, I think the best thing for us to do going forward is we're going to go back to the standings as they were at the end of week 7. And we're just going to forget about week 8. We'll go back to the standings at the end of week 7. We're going to rank everybody top to bottom 1 through 20. The top 12 teams will then get essentially a bye in the first round of our playoff bracket. And then teams 13 through 20 will play. They're essentially going to be involved in play-in games. So, you can figure this out, guys. I know you can. That what we'll do is we'll take teams 19 and 20, and they will play in to, if you want to pull that bracket up there, Colin.
Sure.
So, for example, they would play in for the right to be the 16th seed in the tournament, where they would then play the number 1 seed in the second round of the playoffs.
Okay.
And so forth. Teams 17 and 18 would play for the 15th spot, and so on. That way, everybody is still involved in what's left of the season.
Yeah. So there will be a 16 team playoff, but teams 13 through 16 will have a play-in requirement.
13 through 20.
13 through 20.
Yeah, they'll play in.
Okay.
So the top 12 teams will fill in, as you look at that bracket there, they will fill in 1 through 12 on the spots as they exist. And then 13 through 20, we will we will assign them games with each other, and then they will play for a spot in that.
So what you're saying is everybody still has a chance.
Everybody still has a chance.
So no matter how you performed in Season 9, you still have a chance. However, Season 8 or Week 8 doesn't count.
Week 8 doesn't count.
Because there's 3 or 4 teams that haven't played yet.
Right.
So...
Right. And rather than putting that, dumping that onto our streamers, I think we would be better off if we just said, we're going to wipe those off the map, and we'll go back to what we were after Week 7.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. We'll assign. So the very first week of our WFA tournament will be all of those playing games. There will be
okay.
Well, there'll be 4 games.
Yeah.
And I think that will make things better for our stream team. Finding a couple of guys that can handle those first 4 games will be better on them.
Yeah.
And then once we get to the 16-team bracket, that first week there'll be 8 games. So it'll be a little bit of a load, but it'll be manageable. We'll make it work.
It'll be downhill from there.
It'll be downhill from there, because every week we're cutting the field in half.
Yeah.
And that'll take us through 5 weeks of postseason. And really at that point, then I think we need to start to think about what we can do to make the ownership experience, the player experience better for the entire league, which we'll talk about here in just a moment as well.
And you're saying that we don't want to change anything right now until Season 9 is over. So
in terms of
owners turning in playbooks, we want the custom playbooks the same as they've ever been. Right, 10 adds, 10 drops on both sides of the ball.
We'll live with that through Season 9's playoffs.
We're going to go ahead and continue that. We're going to honor that through the rest of the season, through these playoffs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, and hopefully we'll get some folks together to maybe get some commentary. I always enjoy the games more when there's people that I know who are announcing. So.
Yeah, I think one thing I would like to do with the playoffs is we need to be thoughtful about when those games are streamed, because I know for me broadcasting and for you streaming, it's a little discouraging when you watch that stream and you look down and there's 2 viewers.
Yeah.
And again, with aligning with our goals of trying to make things more fun, that we want to stream these games during a time of the day when maybe people are not at work or maybe not at different things they have going on in the hours immediately after work, so that hopefully our viewership will go up a little bit.
That would be optimal, and I think that should be our primary goal. But maybe more importantly than that, we will create a schedule, and we'll do our best to stick to that schedule, because I think knowing when a game is going to happen is almost more important than what time it's going to be.
Yes, as you and I talked, uniformity will be also one of those things that is going to be kind of one of our mission statements.
And consistency.
Yes, being consistent. Yes. And I think we should also try very hard to be kind to each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, I love being with you because you're always very kind. I mean, I came over today and you whipped up this...
I whipped it up.
He whipped up this drink, which we will call a urine sample. Because of the color and the way it looks in the glass. Thank you very much for this.
Well, you know what? That's what you get at the Pierce house is you get the good old-fashioned urine sample. That's our signature drink during kind hour.
Right, during kind hour.
Here.
Not happy hour,
it's not
kind
happy
hour.
It's kind
right.
hour. So, okay, very good. So that is our plan to finish out this season. Now for the real exciting stuff.
What's next? I can't wait.
Let's talk about what our plan is for season 10.
Well, I've talked to several of the owners, especially the old guard guys. But when I put out the question in owners chat about who was going to stay, and I let discussion kind of like unfold as far as like what the league needs to look like going forward, that sort of thing. Joel made a great observation. He said that if you go back to using like the old generic playbooks, you kind of level the playing field for those guys who are just trying to learn the game.
Yeah.
And it is, I will confess that I thought that I could just walk in here year one and have full command of the game and be off and running. And I found it to be a bigger challenge than it really was, than what I really had expected. And I know I've listened to a few of the owners that are newer being frustrated about, team performance and things like that. And I think that going forward with that, we can level that a little bit. It'll still be competitive. You still have to build a good roster, but we're going to take the pressure of building a good playbook off the plate to some degree.
Yeah, let's talk about it still being competitive, because that's important for somebody like myself, because I hated the idea of generic playbooks originally.
Yeah, I did too.
A couple seasons ago when it was brought up.
Yeah.
Hated the idea because I feel like part of the competitiveness is developing your own playbook. But
well, and I've been, as you know, I've been coaching high school and college football now for 35 years. And one of the things I really liked about this league was that you built your own system to some extent. And if you were to ask me what I would want personally in the league, I would want us to find a way to make custom playbooks work. But I think that with the constraints of the game itself and the editor and the challenges and demands that we place on the stream team, the best thing for our league is to go forward with that group of generic playbooks. And, with that, I've asked a couple of you guys to work on some kind of a document where owners could look at those playbooks and kind of know what they're getting.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing to me is it's not just one generic playbook. It's not just 2 or 3. There's 25 offensive options for generic playbooks. That's way more than I thought there were before we started looking into it. There's 25 options of playbooks, and we'll try to make a resource. We will make a resource that shows specifically what formations, what plays are for each generic playbook so that the owners have a chance to go through those and pick them for yourself. And I would also like to say that as a layer of competitiveness is I don't want those to be revealed to the other owners once for what somebody picks. So let's say the Montreal Berserkers pick a generic playbook 7. Nobody else needs to know that. I think that should be held secret.
Sure.
For the entire season.
And if you are, scouting becomes kind of a moot point because you're not going to be making changes in the playbook. We're going to put a system together and let it go for season 10. Right.
So we're going to let people choose an offensive generic playbook and a defensive generic playbook.
Yeah.
So when you start mixing in 2 types of generic playbooks, you get more options and combination. So
I think that it'll allow for the owners to still build a team that is unique to them. If they have a vision for the kind of team that they want to build, there's still some mechanism where they can do that. So for me, I'm going to put together, to the best of my ability, I'm going to put together a power running game. And defensively, I'm going to try to find. Now, that might be, I don't know who was a power running team back in 2008. Let's say, for example, it was the San Francisco 49ers. Okay. So I would have the 49ers offensive book, but then I may go pick the Chicago Bears defense.
Right.
If I like a lot of man coverage or, heavy blitzing or whatever, then maybe I would pick that team.
Yep. And some owners may enjoy developing their roster first, getting their players set first, and then choosing the playbook that matches their players, or choose the playbook that they like first and then try to build and pick their roster to match their playbook better.
Yeah, it still leaves, there's still going to be some pretty good franchise building strategy involved in all this.
Yep, and the best part is you don't have to input 60 plays a week.
Right.
As a streamer, you just click the button one time.
It'll be in the roster file.
And it'll be saved in season mode.
Oh, it will be.
It'll be saved in season mode. It'll be attached to that team throughout the whole season. The season mode will automatically randomize the schedule. The schedule will be set in place. That's something we don't have to do. The stats will be automatically recorded. We won't have to worry about going back and saving the streams or anything like that and going back and inputting them into another Excel sheet. So there's a lot of time saved there. And probably one of the most exciting and different parts is going to be how we plan on running each week with these streams and with the Sims. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Before we get to that, I do want to give you some credit on something that, and this jumps back to our playoff plan. one other thing too, that I mentioned there was that the streamers always have to make sure that injured players don't wind up on the field. So I was really proud of you. You worked really hard this weekend. We brought in all of the injured players from the WFA here into your basement, where you worked like a madman with treatment on those guys.
I did a lot of physical therapy.
There was a lot of rubbing down going on in this basement.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, all players who have been injured are now eligible to play in the playoffs.
Taken care of.
They're
good to go.
They're healed. So, okay, let's go back to what you had brought up there.
So, in the season mode, those of you who have been in the WFA since the beginning may remember what it was like when Joel ran the league on season mode. But one of the benefits to running it is that it's all saved onto one file, and it keeps track of everything as you go. But you also have the ability to auto sim whatever games you would like to auto sim. And what that means is you don't have to sit and wait for 2.5 hours for your game to play out on YouTube for a stream. You can hit a button and it automatically pops up the score and the stats and all of that stuff. Now, we're going to dive into this a little bit deeper. We don't want every game to be auto-simmed, right? Because we think that part of the fun of owning a team is watching your team on the field, right? So, but it's also not practical for us to expect streamers to be able to stream 10-plus games a week.
Right.
Regularly, inconsistently, and make it fun with announcing. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So we've got a plan. You want to talk a little bit about what our plan is?
Well, and you feel free to jump in if I mess anything up here, but it sounds like with season mode that we're going to need 24 teams, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Season mode needs 24 teams because it won't run on less, it won't run on more. There's going to be 24 teams regardless. If we don't have them filled, it'll be a computer team.
And I don't like the thought of a computer team getting in the playoffs.
No, me neither.
So, we'll remedy that, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. One thing that I think that everybody will find more exciting is within that weekly schedule, we're going to try to play a game of the week.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
We're going to say 1 to 3 games a week.
1 to 3 games a week. Okay, that's fair. And then with the rest of the league, we're going to have a recap show where we go back through and discuss stats and scores and what took place in those games and talk about the standings. And we're going to try to make the game of the week a bigger event. And we want that recap show to be really huge. We want that to be something that people would love to tune into and watch along, as we talk about it.
Yeah, we want to get people together. Like we said, we want more than 2 people watching our streams. We want this to be a community event. So the plan is, in a perfect world, the plan's going to be one streamer will take the file for 1 week. Let's say I have the file for week 1. Depending on my schedule, my personal schedule, what I'm able to do, I'm going to at least live stream 1 game of the week with announcing.
Right.
If I've got more time that week, I might stream another game or 2 live. The rest of the games will be put into a show that'll be hosted by myself, and hopefully my good friend Ryan might be coming back.
Awesome.
And
that would be fantastic.
It would be great.
Involved. Yes.
And we would be running a show that will highlight those games. And if we are able to, in season mode, maybe go in and look into maybe some big plays, important players of the game, and kind of highlight the...
That is the question right now. As I'm envisioning the show, is there a way for us to get highlights from one of the games that isn't streamed?
I don't know yet. There's a lot of questions about it.
Yeah.
But regardless, there will be a show that will at least review all of the games that were auto-simmed. Okay, so as a way to get the rest of the community who didn't have a game that week to come in and listen and enjoy company of the other members.
We hope that increases viewership as well.
I don't see why it wouldn't. It seems like...
Well, you guys did such a good job with that podcast. I mean, it was so much fun that I don't know why people wouldn't want to tune in.
Well, I think this could be a lot of fun, too. I really do. I think it would be good. And I think it's important for us to say that we are not going to allow Game of the Week to be voted on by the community because we want to make sure that the love is spread as to what teams are seen during the week.
Right.
We'll pick good games, hopefully.
It might even be that you're the 23rd and 24th ranked team, and we just want to have essentially a toilet bowl.
We want to make sure everybody gets a chance.
Right. We want to share the love.
We want to share the love.
Yeah.
So
it's part of being kind.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So that'll be our plan. So that would be like week 1, and then so let's say that would be pretty exhausting if I did that every week. Mm-hmm. Right. But then my plan would be week 2. Let's say we've got another big streamer like Zach.
Yeah.
Say Zach signs up for week 2. I save the file at the end of that week, send it to Zach, and now Zach can take over week 2, leaving me a break.
Right.
And other streamers a break. So Zach can stream 1 to 3 games, live stream 1 to 3 games, but I would still like to do the show. I still plan on doing the show weekly. So that would be the plan. And depending on how many streamers we have signed up would give the rest of the streamers more of a break. And it would be kind of like a rotation.
Yeah.
So I think that could work out really well. I think it would keep things consistent and uniform and fun.
Man, it just feels like we have streamlined some things.
Mm-hmm. We got one more thing.
We do.
We got one more thing.
All right.
The last thing people probably saw coming.
Yes, expansion. I'm really excited about this. With season mode, as you mentioned earlier, you have to have 24 teams. And we currently have an ownership of 20. I did have Chad has mentioned that his commitments in the SFL are probably going to force him to give up the Washington Wastelanders. Mm-hmm. Although with them going in a direction that you and I talked about, we wouldn't have been happy with. Maybe we'll get him back at some point.
Who knows? I mean, I would hate to see Chad go, and with our changes, with it not being, we'll say, not near as involved and as in depth to own a team in the WFA, maybe he'll stick around.
Maybe so.
I'd like to see him.
Irregardless of that, is irregardless a word?
Irregardless?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, it's a word. We're going to need some owners.
We will.
To fill out these last spots, and with that, I would imagine that we'll either make up a Google document like we've done in the past where people can apply for teams, and then we'll take application. We will consider people who are brand new, who have new ideas and can bring new blood to the league. We will consider people who have been owners in the past who gave up teams for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We're looking for making this league fun again. And so we want to leave no stone unturned.
Right.
In terms of coming up with the 24 most entertaining and best ownership group we possibly can.
Yep. And I would say that we're looking for 4 to 6 owners.
Probably so. I'm hearing rumors. Do you want to address that or?
Sure. I think that it's really important in a league like ours that somebody behind the scenes is a non-owner, and I think that person needs to be me. I've had my fun. I've had my run with the Berserkers. And after this season, I will be stepping down as an owner and will be stepping into the co-commissioner role as a non-biased personnel. So I want us to have fun. And if you've got somebody behind the scenes who's helping run the show and they've got a piece in the pie, you always wonder in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Don't you? So I don't want that. I care more about the production level. I want us to have fun. I want it to be entertaining. So.
Well, I am happy and sad about that because, I'm happy to have your dedication and your ideas and your commitment to doing things because I know how you are when you take on a task that you're going to want it done right. So I'm happy about that. I think that makes our league better. I'm sad because I haven't had ample opportunity to kick your ass. And so, and that's going to bring about an end to the Pottsville. I hope somehow we meet in the playoffs. I just hope we do. And it might be we have to keep the old roster file around and just have a random game once in a while, just the two of us.
What is our record?
Why'd you have to go there?
I just want to know. I don't remember.
I don't know how many times you beat me. I've beaten you once.
Okay.
Yeah, once.
So it's like 4-1.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry.
Is it really a rivalry if one team wins that much? Yeah. Anyway, back to the expansion part. We are looking for people to do those things. Hopefully, if you're listening to this and you have wanted to be an owner, be looking for that. We'll put that out in league announcements before long.
We will. And
we'll start talking about S10 at that point. And I think it's going to be a good thing for us.
I do too. So, let's talk about what we want the future to look like.
Well, we sat down, we talked about some goals. And, for me, this has been fun. And it needs to be fun. Yes, we want it to be competitive. And I love the rivalries that, like I give Ryder and I give Daly a hard time, about beating those guys. But that's all in good fun. And I try to trash talk it up a little bit with being careful within that.
You're right. Sure.
But my number one priority here is for this league to be fun. Would you?
I would agree. I mean, I think fun is super important. For me, too, I think that uniformity is important as well. We want there to be a more of an even playing field, but still have competitiveness.
Yes, and I think that'll make the experience overall, if we have uniformity in there as well, it'll make the overall WFA experience better for everybody.
Right. We also, our big thing is we want consistency.
Yes.
Right. We want our streams. We want our shows. We want everything that comes out of the WFA to be consistent and reliable.
Right. People should be able to count on that. The things that we do have the feel of being kind of a big event. I want us to relook at how we do the draft.
Okay.
I want that to become a much bigger event than it's been previously, and more uniform in terms of the way we present it. So I'm really looking forward to that. So we've got fun, we've got uniformity, we've got consistency, and then we talked about being kind to each other too. And I think that's important.
So if we put all those together, those are our goals.
That's like our mission statement for this league.
That is the WFA mission statement going into season 10.
Right.
We want everybody to
basically give a fuck about the league.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what we want.
That's what we want.
We're not ready to die yet.
We're not.
We're not ready to roll over.
We're going to make this fun, one way or the other.
Yeah. So that is our plan. I'm getting really excited about it.
Me too.
I'm getting really excited about it.
Me too.
If you've watched this, we appreciate you. We would love to see the league kind of explode a little bit when it comes to the amount of people we've got in Gen Chat and the excitement that we see in the channels. If you have any interest in helping the league, just let us know. Let one of us know.
Right.
If there's something that you would want to do that you think would be fun, okay? We want you to have a good time. We joined this league because it was going to be fun.
Right.
It ended up not being fun. Noah talked about that in his video. It ended up being work. It ended up being stress. And that's not what it's about.
We don't want that for anybody. I hate it that Noah ended his time there as a commissioner feeling that way.
Right.
So, fun's going to be top priority for us.
Yep. So,
and let me just say this too, that I hope that we have answered some things that we envisioned for the short term of the WFA, but also kind of open the door for where this league is going after this season as well. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have ideas, feel free. DM me, DM Colin, post it in the owners chat, post it in the league chat, whatever works for you, and we'll give consideration to that.
absolutely.
I'm currently in the middle of getting my son ready for pole vault. His senior season's coming up, and so I probably won't comment on every single thing that gets written, but I want you to know I am reading it, and we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'll be bouncing those ideas, as Colin will too, off of some of the old guard in the league in our effort to make it better, and for us to achieve those goals that you see there on the right-hand side of the screen.
So, well, let's not hang around any more than we're welcome. We're going to cut this off here, but it won't be the last you'll hear of us.
Cheers.